Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. So before I begin this video I just want to apologize. I am a bit sick. I have the flu and I'm still recovering. So if my voice sounds a bit strange, that's why. But anyway, so for today's reading we are asking Spirit what qualities people admire in you. So we have 4 groups for you guys to choose from. Group number 1 here with the Deer card. Group number 2 with the Hawk. Group number 3 with the Peacock, and then lastly group number 4 with the Scorpion card. Okay, so as usual you can just pause the video here to decide on a group, or maybe you feel drawn to more than one group, maybe even to all the groups, and then you can just check the description box down below for the timestamps, and then let's see what do people admire in you, what qualities do people admire in you. Hello and welcome everyone who picked group number 1. So you guys chose the Deer card, and today we are asking Spirit what qualities do people admire in you. So to begin with the Deer card, immediately I'm drawn to all of this green on here. So I think you guys have a very loving energy, you know, the color green connects with the heart chakra. So I think it could be that you are very emotionally like open, so maybe you have like a mother energy, you like the mom friend or the dad friend, always takes care of everyone else. So if I can use an example, if you're out partying with your friends, you would be the one that makes sure that everyone gets home safe, and if a friend has like a bad day, you are the one to comfort them. So people are really drawn in by that quality that you have. So I think you also have a way of making different kinds of people feel comfortable. So it could be that in a social setting where there are new people, you are the one that would go talk to someone that seems like they are just standing there in a corner on their own. So definitely a very soft energy, and you know, with the Deer, they have like these gentle eyes. So it could even be that your gaze is welcoming to people. So you might seem non-judgmental to people, so they like to open up to you. You guys might find that even in public spaces like shopping centers, people just start to pour their heart out to you and like tell their personal life story to you. So often this is something that happens with water signs. Now obviously this card it's earth energy, but I do think you guys also have like that emotional quality too. So with earth energy, it could even be that you seem like someone very stable, or you have a way of almost making other people feel stable. So when they like vent to you about their emotional problems, you could have a very delicate way of comforting them and making them feel grounded again. Now with the Deer, it often also talks about an actual mother. So some of you guys could be mothers. That is something that people could see as a good quality in you. So maybe you have a unique way of looking after your children. Even if it's not like your own children, maybe you are an aunt or a sister. So people definitely see you as someone very nurturing and who knows how to take care of the people around them. I also think you guys aren't afraid of being emotional. You don't see it as like a weakness or something that holds you back, and I think people admire the fact that you aren't scared to show your more vulnerable side as well, and that's also why they are more willing to be open in your company. So it's definitely like you guys provide a safe space for people, whether that is friends or family or even like outsiders and strangers. Okay, so, oh, and also I want to mention, you know, the Deer has like quite big ears. So I do think you guys could be very good listeners as well. And that's part of the reason why people want to open up to you, because it seems like you're someone that is actually willing to listen to their problems. Whether this is true or not, that's the way it comes over. So very interesting. And I also associate the Deer with curiosity, actually, because, you know, a deer's nose, it like twitches. I don't know why I associate it like that, but it could just be that you you guys actually have a curiosity in people, so you do want to get to know people better, and that's also why you are willing to listen to them and willing to listen to their problems. Okay, so I'm just gonna put your card aside for now. That's just like the general energy that you guys have. So now I want to get an archetype card to give us some more information about these qualities that you guys possess. So Spirit, for group number 1, please, can you tell us what qualities do they have that other people admire in them? Let's see here. Okay, that just jumped right out. We have, oh, this is interesting. Bully. The light attributes are: highlights your tendency to intimidate others, helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. And the shadow attribute is: conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Now, obviously, we are talking about qualities that people admire in you. So you don't have to worry about negative cards. So the way I interpret it here is that you are almost like a how can I say it? Like fighter for social justice. So I feel like you guys have a very soft energy, but when it comes to injustice in society, that's when your more feisty side comes forward, and you are especially irritated is not the right word, but like irritated when people do others wrong. So when you see that someone else is like being a bully, you would be the one that is there to stand up for the person that is being bullied. So that's a very admirable quality, of course. And I think people are often quite surprised when this more tenacious side of you comes out, because they only see you as like a caring person. But when we talk about that motherly energy as well, it's like protecting your little ones. So protecting your friends or protecting whoever is being bullied here. And we have like this cloud on here that is blowing all of this wind. So interesting, you know, clouds are also like soft, and we don't associate that with danger really. But with this wind here, maybe you have a very sharp tongue when you want to stand up for someone else. If you guys know Myers-Briggs, maybe some of you identify as INFJs, because I know people talk about INFJ rage, like how it comes out of the blue. Interesting, out of the blue here with all of this blue on here as well. But it's definitely unexpected when you guys stand your ground and when you are willing to fight for someone else. But I think people find that very admirable, the way that you know when to be soft and when to be hard and have a tough exterior, and that this is something especially that you are willing to do for other people that maybe don't have that power themselves. And I wanted to mention here with the blue color as well, I said you guys could have a sharp tongue. Now, blue connects with the 3rd chakra, so there's definitely a sense here of you guys not being afraid of voicing your opinion. Maybe in general, but especially in situations where you feel like someone is being wronged. Okay, so that is what I get with this card. Now, it could also be that some of you guys have endured like verbal or physical abuse in the past, and that's also why you want to fight for others now. That's just like a side note. It won't resonate with everyone. But I do think for many of you, you have been in a situation where you have felt attacked by other people, and that's why you feel so passionate about protecting others. So that's interesting. So let's get another oracle card. So I'm going to use the Sacred Destiny Oracle. So Spirit, can you give us some more information for group number 1, please, about what qualities they have that other people admire? Let's see here. Maybe just 1 or 2. Okay, we have 2. We have the card Focus, and this is like a jaguar on there. And we also have the card Security with these like cave paintings. Interesting. Okay, so I mentioned this in a previous video. I associate cave paintings with like your heritage and family and where you come from. So definitely a strong sense of family in your group. You could be quite family oriented, and I mentioned here with this mother energy, protecting the people close to you, and maybe even having like very strong bonds with your family. So people definitely see you as someone that is there for the people that they love, and They can see that you provide a sense of security to the people in your surroundings. And with this fire on you as well, you know, you just need like a little light, and then it lights up a whole space. So it's almost like you guys shine your light in your community, and by doing that you have an influence on all of the people around you, especially since you aren't afraid of your more emotional side, and opening up a space where other people feel comfortable as well to share their more vulnerable sides. And with focus here, you are definitely very determined in whatever it is that you do. So whether this is taking care of people that are close to you, or whether this is talking about your personal goals, I get a cardinal energy here, so you could be Cancer sign, so maybe that is significant in your chart. But you know, cardinals can be quite, you know, they really push through and don't back down. So it's interesting. I think about that saying like climb every mountain, because we have like it looks like the Alps almost. So I definitely feel for many of you that there was something here where you have endured some negativity or some difficult situations, and you have been able to climb over that mountain. And so now you have a different way of looking at life, and that's why you find strength in vulnerability, and why you can almost provide the security for other people that you didn't have. So this is definitely a big quality that people admire in you. And you know, with the jaguar, I think it's a jaguar. If I'm wrong, you can correct me. But you know, it's like a stealthy energy. So this links in for me with this bully card. So it's not sneaky, but you almost make very calculated choices, whether that is in how you live your life in general, or in terms of how you talk to other people. But I do think you are very aware of the impact that words have on people. And so this focused energy is often used to comfort people, as we mentioned in the beginning, but also you know how to actually cut deep and hurt someone if that is needed. Obviously, sometimes we have to have strong boundaries, and it's good to have that balance between when you are being open and when you are putting up a boundary when someone has maybe crossed yours, or as we mentioned, crossed some of your friends or family or children or whoever's boundary. Okay, so now I want to get some tarot just to get some more information about these qualities that you have. So let me just get my tarot deck here. So Spirit, for group number 1, can we please get some more information about the qualities that they possess? Maybe some other qualities that they also have that people admire in them. Okay, we have the 10 of Pentacles. And once again, this links in with family. We have the Knight of Cups. We have the 2 of Pentacles. Just gonna get some clarifiers. Okay, we have the King of Wands. And this is the female King of Wands. We have the King of Cups. Interesting. And then one last card here, please, Spirit. Okay, we have the Emperor, and this is the female Emperor. And the back of the deck is the 5 of Pentacles. Quite interesting energy. Okay, so definitely a very strong feeling of being family oriented. I almost feel like you guys have a great sense of responsibility towards your family. It could be that you grew up in a very close-knit family, or you didn't experience a very safe home, and now you want to create that for yourself. And so now family is very important for you because you didn't have that like structure or security growing up. So with the King of Wands, it's something that you are very passionate about, and it's interesting to me that we have like these lights coming here from a staff. So it makes me think of this fire as well. It's almost like you have a spark inside of you to create this abundant family life. And I think a lot of people see you as someone that would be willing to put in a lot of effort to create a stable and happy home life. And obviously that's very admirable, because that's something that a lot of people aspire to, you know, that whole I don't want to say suburban life, but it is almost like that, you know, have the nice house and the nice kids and all of that. Obviously some of you don't want kids probably, or don't want to get married or anything like that, but that's just like the vibe that you guys give to other people and that they find admirable. Now with the Knight of Cups here and the King of Cups, it's definitely like, again, that emotional energy that you have. And it's interesting, the heart on here, it's like a instrument. So maybe some of you guys play an instrument. That's just like a little side note, like an actual harp. But it also talks about like playing at people's heartstrings. So I think there's quite a lot of people that actually care about you, whether you know this or not. I think a lot of people have a soft spot for you. And once again, it's because you create this safe space. Because when I look at this lotus here, it's like opening up. So it's really about how you guys have a way of helping others open up and be their true selves. And the lotus, Kino Tarot often talks about this, but how it has to go through the mud before it can blossom. And it really makes me think that for a lot of you, we were talking about having a past that wasn't as nice, or maybe experiencing some verbal abuse. And so you came out stronger, and this could be another thing that people admire about you. So maybe they expected you to turn into someone bad, maybe even turn into a bully yourselves, but instead you actually grew from that situation, and you turned into someone better, someone that is like this fire that lights up people's life, and creates a safe space. It's almost like, you know, this is like a huge heart. So I think people see you as someone with a very big heart, and that has space for a lot of people in your life, and that cares about a lot of people in your life. And with this King of Cups as well, it's also like this gateway. So it's definitely like you guys went through a transition, and it's almost like you were this girl being able to see into the future and seeing the future that you want for yourself. So that also links in with this focus energy as well. So I definitely get the sense that people really admire your focus on building a future, whether this only pertains to yourself or to your surroundings, like the people in your surroundings, doesn't really matter. But you have a sense of determination about you, which is very attractive and admirable. Now with the Two of Pentacles here, this is all about balance. So it could be that you have quite a lot of things to manage in your life with this Emperor card. You know, there's all of these peoples on a string, especially if you are like the head of a family. Now I've been talking about mother energy, but obviously you could be a father as well. It doesn't relate to gender at all. But you definitely have like a lot of balls in the air that you have to juggle. And I think people see you as someone very poised, that has a way of handling all of these things in your life with grace. And they might wonder how it is that you're able to do all of this, because especially if you think about like a working mom, or like single father or anything like that, it seems like you have a lot on your plate, but somehow you still manage to do that. And it could be that you have a way of delegating some tasks. Maybe there's like a grandmother or a friend or someone that can help you out. Now obviously if you guys don't have a family of your own, this can just talk about other connections in your life that you have to manage. And with the Emperor card, as I said, this is the female Emperor, and we have the female King of Wands. So it's like you're very balanced between your masculine and feminine. It's like you can really switch between the two whenever one is needed more. So when you have to be soft, you are soft, and when you have to be hard, you are hard. And with the long braids on as well, it talks about power. So there's definitely like a sense of power to you guys. It's almost like a regal energy. You know how to maintain your position in life, and you don't let things get you down too much. You have a graceful way of moving through difficult periods in your life, moving through these transitions, as you have already done. And especially with this Five of Pentacles here at the back of the deck. It's about almost feeling left out in the cold, and we have like this flower in a cage. So linking with this Lotus, it's like you were in this negative circumstance where you were almost caged, but you managed to get yourself out of that with this focus that you have, and now you are really moving towards this future as well of the Ten of Pentacles, of a stable life and a happy life, and people find that very admirable about you, even if you don't see that about yourself. So group number 1, I'm going to leave your reading there. I really hope it resonated. If it did, you can let me know in the comments down below. And then if you want to support me and my channel, you can give this video a like and subscribe. And then I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye! Hello and welcome everyone who picked group number 2. So you guys chose the Hawk card. And today we are asking Spirit, what qualities do people find admirable in you? So to begin, the Hawk card is air energy. So you could be a Libra, Gemini or Aquarius. Doesn't have to be, it could just be like significant placements in your chart. But air energy is really about like communication. So with this Hawk as well, it's someone that is able to see the big picture. It's also like a very intellectual energy, so maybe you guys are quite smart or well educated. But definitely people see you as someone who has a broad perspective. So this could talk about having knowledge on a lot of topics. But it could just be that you are maybe good in debate. So you have a way of looking at both sides. Or you are like a mediator even. So if your friends are fighting, you are the one that would come between them and say like, okay, person A, you are right here. Person B, you are right there. And then everyone is happy, problem solved, something like that. But definitely seeing things from a different perspective. So maybe people admire the way that you just look at any situation in life. You might have a very unique input or view to add to any conversation. So it could even be that you just have like obscure knowledge on things, like you know in which year which can of Coke was created or anything like that. So it's definitely like you have a very interesting mind. I think people want to pick your mind a lot about different things. They might want your opinion when they want to make decisions in their life. So I'm just gonna put your card here for now. I actually also get Sagittarius energy of the Hawk, so maybe that relates to your situation. But anyway, so I want to get an archetype card to give us some more information about what qualities you have that people admire. So, sorry guys, my throat is very scratchy. I mentioned in the intro I'm still recovering from a flu. So, Spirit, for group number 2, please, can we get an archetype card for them, please? Let's see here. Okay, we have 2. That's fine. Okay, we have Child Magical and we have Child Orphan. Interesting that both the children sorry, come out here. That is quite significant. Okay, so you could be someone with a very youthful energy, or maybe people find that their inner child can come out in your company. Now with Child Magical, it says of the light attributes, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. And the shadow attributes are pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. And we have like this fairy on here. You could have a very like whimsical look or vibe to you. Maybe some of you guys are in an esoteric kind of job, like an occult job. Maybe you relate to the idea of witches or anything like that, or you just have a very interesting way of dressing. Could be something like that, you know. I think of like fairy core or cottage core, something like that. So I think people admire your, it's almost like your sense of wonder in the world. Maybe you find joy in simple things. You would be like the one that stops and smells the roses, you know, maybe wishing on dandelions or anything like that. It's maybe qualities that some people would see as childlike, like almost immature, but there's definitely a lot of people that find it endearing. And maybe even some of the people that critique these ideas or tendencies that you have, but in secret they actually find it admirable because they wish that they would have the confidence to maybe show joy about things that seem simple or insignificant in life, like your morning coffee, which I think is very important. But that's just like a side note. Okay, so with child orphan, the light attributes are independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving, and the shadow attributes are feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. So what I really get from this card is that you guys aren't afraid to be your authentic selves. It's like you feel like that is more important than fitting in and having maybe a lot of friends. So you aren't scared to follow your own path and stay in your own lane. So even if that means maybe losing friends or losing family, and going through periods where you might feel a bit isolated, but in the end, since you have this higher perspective, you can see that in the long run that will benefit you more because you're staying true to yourself. And it might mean going through these periods of feeling a bit alone, but ultimately you will be able to meet people that you resonate with and that also see and find joy in the same things that you do. So this can even talk about, I just had this message about making some art that is a bit different. So maybe you aren't someone that really likes realism, you like surrealism or abstract art or anything like that, spiritual art, and some people find it strange, but you really like doing that and you find a lot of joy and purpose in doing something like that. And I think people admire that about you as well. And maybe you have some silent fans there. You know, a lot of the times we feel like no one is seeing what we do, but Spirit is just coming through with a message that there's a lot of people that silently admire you, and they might not be so open about that. You know, people who hate are often more open than people who admire or love your things. So that's just like a little side note for you guys if you were feeling insecure maybe about your artwork. This will be for a few people, not for everyone, obviously. But I also wanted to mention, I also get like an otherworldly vibe with this card. So I think people do see you as someone that is a bit up in space sometimes. Maybe you are someone who really likes to think things over, and this causes you to like zone out sometimes in conversation because you're actually analyzing what is being said and everybody's body language and things like that. So you're very aware of what's happening. It just seems to other people that you're a bit in outer space on your own planet. So that's just another side note. So I want to jump into tarot now to give us some more information. So Spirit for group number 2, please. Oh, actually, sorry, before I do that, I want to get one more oracle card. So for group number 2, please, can we get one oracle card about attributes that they have that people admire? So let's see here, or qualities. Okay, we have openness, and with this big moon here. So I mentioned here, you are someone who maybe has a lot of information about different topics or like this higher perspective. So I think you guys are very open to new information as well. I think you don't want to stagnate in life. So you are always seeking new knowledge and trying to broaden your horizons. Now this can even talk about traveling, but I do think for a lot of you guys this talks about being open to new spiritual information as well, because we have a lot of constellations on here in the background of this card. So some of you could be into astrology. I'm not so knowledgeable about astrology. I like to read about it. I've been looking into like sidereal and true sidereal astrology, but you need a lot of time to really delve deep. But I do think you guys are the type of people who actually likes learning. We talked about this air energy here, so again, that intellectual vibe, and I think it's almost like discordant with this childlike energy. People find it interesting that you, on the one hand, can be very mature, especially in the way that you think about topics, but then on the other hand, you have like this childlike, playful, very free energy to you. And this really links in with this openness. You don't want to box yourself in, like in a stereotype. You really want to be multifaceted, and you want to be able to almost mold your personality to situations. So I do get mutable energy as well. So that's like Sagittarius, Gemini, Pisces, and is it Virgo? I think it's Virgo. So that could be significant placements for you guys, but definitely also an openness to other people, I think. So it could be that you really like to have conversations with people maybe from different ethnicities or cultures, and I think people find that very admirable about you, because you know, a lot of people only want to keep to their own type of people. They really don't want to change their views. They're very stubborn in how they see the world. And with you almost discard things so easily. Like when you are presented with new information which goes against what you currently believe in, you are very open to changing and adapting your views. And it's almost like this breath of fresh air, because people aren't used to that, and they find it very admirable that you are like willing to say, okay, I was wrong here, I see things differently now. So I think you guys can actually give yourself a pat on the back for that, because not a lot of people are willing to change themselves in that way and change their views. So now we can jump into tarot. Okay, so Spirit, for group number 2, please, can we get more information about, okay, what people admire about them? We have the Queen of Swords. Again, that intellectual energy here. I think you guys are really quite smart, and this woman is also looking into the future here, and we have birds here as well. So I do think you are afraid of being caged in, and that's also why you always want to learn new things, because as I said, you don't want to stagnate. You don't want to look at your life and see that you haven't changed at all. Okay, we have the Tower, and we have the Four of Wands. Again, that idea of transitioning into new periods in life. I think you are someone that maybe even goes through a lot of personal transformations. So it's almost like you constantly have Tower moments when you get this new information, and it could even be that you cause Tower moments in other people's life when you present them with new information, but you help people to move through these gateways and to better themselves, because you also do that in your own life. So it's not just something that you do to actually create havoc in other people's lives. You really want to help them by presenting them with this new information. It's almost like you open up the world to other people. Now, I do see that with Sagittarius as well. It's like a philosophical energy. I do get like a professor energy as well. So it's like you're always on the lookout for new things and new information, and always on the lookout for how you can guide other people towards this new information as well. You see, this girl is like, I mean, she's almost caressing this tower that is crumbling. So it's like you almost find joy in being proved wrong. That sounds very strange, but you really like learning new things, and you like improving yourself. You don't hold on too tightly to old versions of yourself. Like, you can look at them in a loving way, like, oh yes, I was like this and it's fine, but I grew up and I changed for the better. And I think that's something that people really admire in you, is your ability to work on your personal growth and to bring others along on this journey, because you have like these two dancing on you as well. So it's like you really find joy in this process. Like I said, it's almost like a dance with life, and you don't look at things like shadow work as being a negative thing. Because you are able to see that it is beneficial for you. And that's that higher perspective coming through. So let's get some more here. We have the World card. Now I do think I mentioned this quickly earlier. Some of you guys could travel a lot, but just like, again, that idea of expanding your horizons. We have 5 of Pentacles, and lastly we have the 3 of Swords. Yes. So, and the back of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles. So definitely with the 5 of Pentacles and the 3 of Swords, this is often seen as more like negative cards, because the 3 of Swords is heartbreak and the 5 of Pentacles is like this feeling of being left out in the cold. But I feel like you, as I said, aren't afraid to go through difficult periods because you can see that it's beneficial for you. So it could be that you have had to cut some people off as well, you know, count your losses, and maybe some people even betrayed you sometimes, and you had to learn from that as well. But you don't let these things hold you back, and you have like empathy for previous versions of yourself. So people definitely admire that about you, the way that you can hold space for who you were, but also work on who you want to become. Especially with this Ace of Pentacles here at the back of the deck. It's like you are constantly looking to start new growth in your life. So I think of planting seeds, but also seeds of information. So as I said here, it's like you also guide other people on this journey with you. And this could cause some heartbreak for them as well. So maybe you, like I said, cause some tower moments for other people. You could find that you go through periods where there's like disruptive energy, maybe between you and friends. So there could be some breaks here where they have to work through some of the things that you told them. But ultimately, the people that are meant to be in your life and that are also willing to grow will come back into alignment with you, if it's meant to be that way. And with the arrows here, I think about hitting the bullseye. So I do think the reason why you might create some havoc here is because you're often so on point with what you say to people. You know the saying, the truth hurts. So I think you really are quite comfortable with telling people how it is. And it could cause uncomfortable situations, but this isn't coming from a negative place. You really want to help them to also go through gateways and make personal transformations. And people do actually admire this, even though they might not communicate that to you. So they can see that by being in your presence and by receiving this new information from you, they are actually evolving themselves. And they might even find that they free themselves from this cold period in their life. The 5 of Pentacles often also makes me think of a period where you feel like your life has no meaning, like the dark night of the soul. So it's definitely like you make people question their whole existence and what they are doing here, if they are actually making a change in life. It's like you are opening up this world to them. And I think it also makes people see how they haven't exposed themselves to different ideas and different ways of looking at life, and maybe even different paths that are available to them in life. We have this map on here, so it's almost like you show the way forward for people on how they can choose a different path from here on out. So it's like maybe someone always thought their future was just going to be like a corporate job and they're going to stay in this little town where they grew up. But then you come along and you give them all of this new information and you show them all of the possibilities that is available to them. And then they start to question their reality and they start to question their beliefs and what they thought they wanted in life. So they really reevaluate their priorities. So that's quite interesting energy for you guys to have. But obviously people admire this about you and they find it very intriguing. And yet, through all of this, you still manage to have this childlike quality, this joyous, playful energy. So it's not just heavy energy, it's also this light energy. Okay, so group number 2, I'm going to leave you a reading here. I really hope it resonated. If it did, you can let me know in the comments down below. And if you want to support me and my channel, you can give this video a like and subscribe. And then I hope you guys have a fantastic day and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye! Hello and welcome everyone who picked group number 3. So you guys chose the Peacock card and today we are asking Spirit, what do people find admirable about you? So what qualities do you possess that people admire about you? Okay, so to begin with the Peacock card, this is air energy, so Libra, Gemini or Aquarius could be significant for you guys. But I always think of someone who is very nicely dressed when I think about the peacock. You know, it's a bird that likes to show off, the males, at least. The females are quite, I don't want to say boring, but a bit drab. So maybe some of you guys are mostly males watching this video. It doesn't have to be, obviously. But definitely you could be someone that really has a unique fashion sense and you like to present yourself in a very unique way, or you just like to make a statement with how you look. So maybe your makeup is always on point or your hairstyle is always very neat or very stylish or classy or whatever. Could even be that you like to wear interesting accessories or very colorful clothes when I think about the peacock. Now, this is just like a little side note. We were at a garden day a while back and there was like 50 peacocks. It's so strange. The people have like a bunch of them and they were screaming, but it sounds just like a cat, like a meow, like a very like a very loud meow. So I don't know. Maybe there's something about your voice as well, which is very significant. Maybe you make yourselves known. Could have a very like a loud voice, or it's almost like your presence wants to be heard. So it could just be that you turn heads when you walk into a room. It's like people are very much aware of you when you enter somewhere. That's just like a side note. Maybe some of you guys even have cats, since the scream sounds like a meow. Or you could look a bit cat-like. Actually, with the peacock, of the eye here as well, it's really standing out to me. So maybe you guys have like an interesting look in your eyes, or you almost have a way of staring at people, maybe staring them down a bit, making them feel intimidated. Okay, so let's move on. I'm gonna get an archetype card to give us some more information. So Spirit, for group number 3, please. What qualities do they have that people find admirable? Okay, we have, interesting, the Virgin card. The light attribute says maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit, and the shadow attribute is fear of intimate union. Huh. Maybe you guys maybe some of you seem very innocent, and this doesn't have to be true, obviously, but it's almost like a damsel in distress energy for me. So there could be quite a lot of people that would like to save you, or they have like fantasies of being the knight in shining armor, you know, coming to your rescue. But I also get the sense here that just like people want to almost coddle you. So maybe you're a bit spoiled by people in your surroundings. It's very interesting. Yeah, it could just be that you have a very pure heart and people want to protect you. I almost think that some of you guys might have like a baby face, or you just seem pure. Because we did talk about having like a unique way of dressing, but it could even be that the way that you look is quite unique. So people almost want to preserve that. That's a very strange way of putting it. It makes me think of something in a museum exhibit. You know, they keep it behind like these glass cages. So maybe you guys are just like very attractive, and it's almost like you're untouchable, because people feel like they would almost destroy that innocence or that beauty that you have if they were to come close. That's quite interesting. I don't know how this resonates with everyone. But anyway, so let's get some other cards here. It could even be that some people are very fearful of like being in a relationship with you because they feel like you're too good for them. So it's like there's a mismatch in levels. So you could find that there's not a lot of people that actually approach you for a relationship, even if you might feel like you are relationship quality, because they find that you are too elevated. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to get some more cards here. So Spirit, for group number 3, please, can we get 1 or 2 cards here about qualities they have that people find admirable? Just 1 or 2, please. Okay, we have 1 here. The light, interesting. Okay, I just want to get 1 more. Okay, we have gateway, interesting. Okay, and we have this unicorn on here as well. So again, that idea of being unique, you know, I mentioned here with the museum exhibit. So it's definitely like you're like a one of a kind, and people want to protect that. And with the light, I definitely feel like people almost see you as a delicatessen. That sounds so strange. There's something about you guys that is a bit different, and people are enamored by it, but they're also a bit scared of it, like wary. They, like I said, they don't want to get too close. It's like, you know, when I think about like a like a small puppy, or like a little bird, you know, it's very cute and everything, and you love to look at it and to see how it behaves, but you're almost scared to get too close for fear of hurting it. So that's like the vibe that you guys have. As I said, yeah, it could seem like you are very innocent. Maybe some of you guys are very like petite or small, or you just look a lot younger than you are. So you may find that people really almost, it's almost like they do this little dance around you without stepping into your personal bubble. Now, obviously, this could be something that is unconscious for you. You might not realize this effect that you have on people, and you might not see yourself in this way. Maybe you don't realize that you present yourself in a very unique way, whether that is like how you dress or maybe just your personality. But I do think a lot of people enjoy your company. So with this delight card, they do find a lot of delight in conversing with you or experiencing your energy, or just maybe looking at you if you are very physically attractive. Now with the gateway card, it's definitely also like a bit of a mythical quality. I think for a lot of people you would seem like a dream come true. It's almost something out of a storybook. And I did mention with like the knight in shining armor coming on his white horse, so this white unicorn makes me think of that as well. And it could be like a false innocence. Maybe you guys are aware of that and you like to play into that. Maybe a bit of a like, I don't want to say emotional manipulation, but it could be that some of you are aware of this effect that you have, and you do like to use that to your advantage sometimes. But I think even if you do, it's not in a bad way. So people find even that admirable. Maybe the way that you are able to charm people. I think of someone making like puppy dog eyes to get their way. So it's just like you have a way of wooing people, and they want to woo you as well, because they see you as this interesting, beautiful creature that they want to win over, and whose energy they want to experience, and someone that they want to protect. So this is very interesting. You are quite different from the other groups. So I want to get tarot because I definitely want more information for your group. So Spirit, for group number 3, please, can we get more information about what qualities they have that people admire about them? So let's see here. Okay. We have the Ace of Wands. Let's get some more. We have the Star card, Aquarius energy. Definitely, okay. So definitely you guys are very unique in some way, and you're definitely like a wish come true for a lot of people. Let's get some more here. We have King of Wands. Okay, we have 10 of Swords. Okay, we have Knight of Wands and Page of Wands. A lot of wands here, a lot of fiery energy. And this is the King of Pentacles, and this is the female King of Pentacles. And the back of the deck is the 6 of Wands. Very interesting. Alright, and we have a hummingbird on here, and I think it's a hummingbird. I'm pretty sure. So hummingbirds can sing quite nicely. Maybe you guys have a very nice voice as well. But I do get the sense that you can be quite persuasive. So as I said, you could have a way of wooing people, so winning them over. And the 6 of Wands is about victory. It's almost, you know, when I think about nectar, it's sweet. It's like honey. It's almost like you are a drug to people. You're like a perfume that's almost overpowering, you know. Sometimes when you smell something very sweet, it makes you lightheaded in a way. So that is like the type of effect that you have on people. They definitely feel a bit frazzled in your company, especially since you are represented here with the star. So like this little fairy here, definitely a very otherworldly quality that you guys possess. Now with the Ace of Wands, it's about new beginnings or starting fresh, but it's like this fiery, passionate energy. So this could talk about a lot of people wanting to have a physical relationship with you. Now with the 10 of Swords here, it's really like they want to, maybe there's a lot of people that are in the friend zone with you, and they really want to end off the cycle, because I think a lot of people find it painful almost to be in your presence if they have these other intentions towards you. Especially since we have all of this fiery energy. So this, I definitely get a big sense in your group that people really admire the way that you look, like your physical attributes. And they definitely, there's like a lot of people that want to have a relationship with you. So I almost think that you guys don't let that bother you too much, because with this drum here, it's like march to the beat of your own drum. You could be aware of the effect that you have and the attention that people want to give to you, but you don't bother too much about receiving that attention. That almost makes you more attractive, the fact that you don't seek out that attention. It just kind of comes to you. Especially with the star here, you know, it's like this girl is sitting here on her own in this big temple. It's almost like people want to like almost bring praise to you. I can't remember the word now. It's like you're almost like a goddess. It's like goddess energy. And with the Page of Wands, this person has this big magnifying glass here. So people really look at you a lot. They almost inspect your life and who you are, and they try to figure out who you are. So maybe there's even like a sense of mystery about you. Maybe you keep to yourself quite a lot. It could even be that you don't actually like to have this much attention on you, and so you choose to isolate yourself a bit. Maybe you have found that a lot of people only want to have superficial relationships with you based on how you look, so you choose to distance yourself a bit, and that ironically that makes you even more attractive and like magnifying. You have like this, it's almost like Scorpio magnetism, because you draw people in by withdrawing your energy. And with the King of Pentacles here, it's like you're almost working on your own life. You're not too bothered about these other people, and people find that very admirable. Sorry guys, I just quickly had to get a package from the front door. Anyway, so as I was saying, people find it admirable how you like focus on yourself and you're not too bothered about all of the attention that other people want to give to you. I almost get the idea that you're busy building your little kingdom here. And I do also get a bit of a regal presence, so it's like you're that type of person that would hold your head quite high when you walk into a room. So you carry yourself in a very graceful way and a very attractive way. You could even have like a nice walk. People like to look at you when you walk. So definitely in your group, one of the main things that people find admirable about you is just the way that you present yourself and the way that you look physically. But obviously there's more qualities about you guys that people admire. This is just like the main thing that's coming through today. So maybe you even want to check out a different group if you felt drawn to another one. But anyway, so group number 3, I'm going to leave your reading there. I really hope it resonated. If it did, you can let me know in the comments down below. And then if you want to support me and my channel, you can give this video a like and subscribe. And then I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye! Hello and welcome everyone who picked group number 4. So you guys chose the Scorpion card, and today we are asking Spirit, what qualities do people find admirable about you? So with the Scorpion card, obviously I'm getting Scorpio energy, so that could be significant in your birth chart. But Scorpio also makes me think of someone that is quite mysterious. So maybe you like to operate a bit underground. Maybe you don't like talking too much about the way that you live your life. Maybe your social media is on private. So not a lot of people know exactly what you're up to. Or even if you are like open on social media, people still feel like they don't really get to know you. In conversations as well, it might feel like you disclose a lot of information, but nothing is really telling them personal information about you. Now, this is also fire energy, so Aries, Leo or Sagittarius could be significant as well. And you know, Scorpio could evolve into a fire sign when it goes through all of the stages like the phoenix. So you guys could be someone that went through a personal transformation, or maybe people see you as someone who is able to transform their life. So maybe you have a lot of power associated with you. Could be a bit destructive as well, but some people might find that attractive or admirable. The way that you maybe aren't afraid of the darker parts of life. So it could be that you're someone that is interested in maybe things like, I don't know, true crime, like serial killers, just like that new series about Jeffrey Dahmer. I haven't watched it, my brother has, but anyway, so it's like you aren't afraid of dabbling in a bit of the more darker side of life, and people find that quality to be quite admirable, that you don't shy away from those types of elements. So also I wanted to mention you know, with the Scorpion, it could be that you have like a very feisty side to you as well. So maybe you're a bit of a fighter, a bit tenacious, or like you could be quite protective over your space and what belongs to you. And when people come too close, you almost like your nails are out, you are ready to fight and stand your ground. So that is something that people also find admirable about you, the way that you have maybe like strong boundaries in terms of who you let get close to you. So I want to get some more information. I'm going to use an archetype card for this. So Spirit, for group number 4, please, can we get an archetype card about the qualities that they have that people find admirable? Let's see here. Okay, we have, no, that's too many. I definitely do feel that you are quite a private person, like very secretive. You don't, maybe even with family, like you don't share that much. Okay, we have 2, that's fine. We have detective, that really links in. And we also have slave, interesting. Okay, so with detective, the light attribute says, great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth, and the shadow attributes are voyeurism, falsifying information. So it's interesting, this woman on here, she's like looking through a book, and there's a hole in the book where her eye is. So I think of Through the Looking Glass, is that Alice in Wonderland? And that's also like she went down the rabbit holes. So you know, you guys are really like embodying this detective energy. You could be quite suspicious of people's motives. That really links in with Scorpio. So I think you guys have a heightened intuition. You have a way of sniffing out lies. You really see through people's BS, and they find that very admirable, the way that you can separate the wheat from the chaff. I can never pronounce that. So you have a very sharp eye. You look at detail. Maybe you have a way of linking information. You know, people who overthink a lot and they start to connect the dots. So I almost get that image of that meme with the guy with that whole board with strings linking together all of the elements of a case, like a detective case. So I definitely get a very smart energy about you as well. It doesn't have to be like book smart, but definitely like street smart. So people definitely admire that about you, the way that you are maybe, you're not naive, you're not gullible, you really look at things in detail. So it's like you really weigh the risks as well. You are able to see all the pros and cons in a situation, and also in people. So you could be like that type of friend that is the first one to tell the others that, like, listen guys, this person is being shady, we can't trust them. And then maybe a few months down the line, your theory is proved correct when that person backstabs some of your other friends. So that's just like one scenario, but it's definitely like you are able to see past people's persona and mask that they put up in society. And the people that are on your side find that very admirable, because they can almost pick your brain to see who they can trust. So they always ask your opinion, like, do you think Tommy is a trustworthy person, or like, what do you think is going on with Samantha and Emma, or whatever. That's just like random names, if that is some of you guys. I'm sorry. So definitely you are a very keen observer and very insightful in terms of people and their behavior. So it could even be that you have like some psychology knowledge, or you work in that field. Some of you could literally be detectives or work in the police force. But it's like a curiosity as well. Maybe you like to study people's mannerisms and things to try to find out more about them. But all in all, you don't disclose much about yourself. So that's definitely that Scorpio energy. Now with the slave here, it says of the light attribute, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust And the shadow attribute is giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. So I definitely feel like you guys don't want to be this puppet for anyone else. So it's almost like you worked on your intuition. You really trust your intuition to tell you about people because you don't want to fall into this trap of being under someone else's spell. You really don't want to be controlled by anyone else. And that's also why you keep a lot of information to yourself, because you feel like anything that you disclose is something that people can use against you or to manipulate you. So it's interesting. I know we're talking about what people find admirable about you. So obviously they see you as someone who isn't controlled by others. So you don't like let yourself be told by others on how to act or what information about yourself you should give to others. So maybe with the social media example, people see you having like a Instagram page and you only have like 3 posts, and then all the other people are posting constantly every day, like the stories, they have reels, they have all of those things, but you're not really bothered about that because that's not important to you. What's important to you is maybe maintaining more of this private presence on there. And it could even be that you only value a few close connections, and that's part of the reason why you don't want to tell everyone your business. And I do think it's also like a bit of like a wisdom that you have, because maybe you have seen scenarios play out like if I can use an example, there's like couples who after 1 month of being together, they constantly post pictures and they're like, oh, you're the one for me, we're going to be together forever, and then another 2 months go by, and then suddenly they break up, and then they meet someone new, and then it's the next one forever. So you have seen how scenarios like this play out, and that's also why you don't want to disclose that type of information. So for example, if you were someone that's in a relationship, you wouldn't constantly post that on social media, because you also realize that that type of presence is often very fake and false, and you are more concerned about creating true and authentic connections where you have an actual bond, and it's not so superficial as the stuff that people post. And so obviously people admire that about you, because they realize that if they are close with you, they are actually someone that matters to you, and even just the fact that you are willing to spend time and energy on them makes them special. So quite interesting energy. I do get a bit of a possessive energy as well, with Scorpio. So it could be that once someone is like in your inner group, you might be a bit jealous when they spend time with other people. But I think people actually like this because they feel valued if you get a bit jealous about them. So I want to get one more card here. So Spirit, for group number 4, please, can we get one more card about the qualities they have that people admire? Okay, that's too many. Just one, please. Okay, we have change. So I mentioned here with the Scorpion that idea of transformation and like the phoenix rising from the ashes. So you could be someone that like constantly changes up your personal look, but I do think it also talks about maybe going through like a spiritual transformation here. So I think if you didn't always have this intuition and insight, it's something that you definitely worked on. You guys seem like the type that would really do shadow work, and that as I said, is willing to delve into like the darker side of life. So I do think you also had to confront maybe some of your own darker elements. So you definitely went through some transformation. There was another group that also had this. I can't remember which one. But it's interesting, this is making me think of what's that thing at a circus or at like an amusement park that can't remember the word, but it goes round and round, like roundabout, is it? Merry-go-round. There we have it. Merry-go-round. So, it makes me think of, people just going about their daily life, going on this merry-go-round and not really realizing how they are almost just going with the stream. And that's where you guys don't want to be a slave to society. So it's almost like you stepped off of that merry-go-round and you chose to pursue your own path. So it could even be that you weren't always like this very private person. But after like observing your own life and other people's lives and noticing what is real and what is not, you chose to make a personal change as well, and maybe even change your personality a bit. So it could even be that you were very extroverted, maybe partying a lot, and then you chose to focus more on yourself and connections that really matter to you. And it's interesting, I noticed we have solitude here at the back of the deck. So I do get dark night of the soul energy here, so going through a spiritual transformation. And we have this big moon here as well, linking with that intuition. So I think it could be that spirit maybe caused a bit of a transformation in your life. And this could also be part of this privacy that you have. Maybe not everyone is aware that you went through this transformation. So you really keep to yourself in that sense. And maybe some of these insights as well, these spiritual insights that you have gained, you don't openly share that with everyone. You first have to snuff out who is actually willing and open to this type of information. But definitely you guys are very intuitive now if you weren't before. It could even be quite psychic, so maybe you have some other qualities like clairsentience, clairaudience, anything like that. So very interesting. And I do think you are also not afraid to speak the truth. Maybe sting some people a bit, but it's necessary sometimes. Okay, so now I want to jump into tarot to get some more information. So Spirit, for group number 4, please, can we get more information about the qualities they have that people admire? Okay, we have the Empress. We have the Knight of Pentacles. We have the Queen of Cups. I have not drawn this card yet. And we have like the seahorse on here. And I read that seahorses talk about embracing change, riding the wave of life. So that links in with this card here. So I do think maybe Spirit threw some curveballs in your life and you had to adapt to that. And it was like a lesson for you guys, and it taught you a lot of skills about observing people and observing people's motives. So people definitely find that admirable about you as well, this ability that you have to go through the motions. And with the Empress here, I also always associate 3 with mind, body and spirit. So it seems like you guys have integrated a lot of different things in your life, and you are either already in this very abundant Empress energy or you are moving into that. And there's also like this baby here, so maybe a lot of people see you as someone that would be a great person to have a family with, especially if you are very private. I don't like it, personally, I don't like it when people post their babies on social media. And maybe the people in your surroundings see you as someone who wouldn't disclose that information about their family, and they really like that about you. Obviously, if you want to post your baby, you can do that if you want. That's just my personal preference. Anyway, so definitely an abundant energy here, or the ability to create abundance. So let's get some clarifiers here. Okay, we have the Queen of Swords. You definitely have a way of looking at the future. So, as I said, even if you don't have this abundance right now, you are definitely someone that seems to have the ability to create that and almost create like your little kingdom. And with the Knight of Pentacles, you have patience. You're not in a hurry to create this abundance for yourself. And I think that is one of your strengths and something that people admire about you. So they see you as someone who is willing to put in effort for the long haul. You don't just want things that are part of an instant gratification and that are fleeting and won't last. So let's get 1 or 2 more here, please, Spirit. Okay, we have the Death card, very fitting, more Scorpio energy. So definitely you are someone that is constantly going through transformations, and we have this flowers here moving through this rib cage. So it's really like it's almost like each time you go through a transformation, you blossom into something better. And we have all of these flowers here. So it's like you are moving through these transformations and riding this change to move into this Empress energy. So definitely people anticipate that you are going to be in a very powerful position one day, and a very affluent and abundant position. So they would obviously want to be part of that, and I do think they find it a bit frustrating that you don't share your energy with that many people, because they would want to share in that abundance that you have. Interesting. Let's get one last card here. Okay, the Devil, obviously. Okay, Capricorn energy. I do get like a boss energy as well, so not necessarily like CEO or something like that, but just being able to manage yourself and to like motivate yourself in life. And the Devil is also like a tempting energy, so you guys definitely have a darker side that people find very tempting, and that draws them in, and it's almost like they feel they would be caught in your web. We do have the Cherries, that is also about temptation. But this is a spider, and it's interesting we have the Scorpion here as well, and spiders can also be poisonous. So I do get a strong sense that people find you to have a very dark side as well, but that is something they find intriguing. It's not like off-putting. It gives you an element of magnetism, and they can see that even though you have this dark side, you choose not to necessarily let that play out in your life. If I can explain it better, they say like true kindness isn't when you don't know how to be bad. It's when you know how to be bad but you choose to be good. It's that type of idea. So definitely that sense of transformation again. So maybe in the past you were a bit not like negative, maybe just add some more negative tendencies, or the way that you talked about people. So maybe you have learned to let go of gossiping, or something like that. This will resonate differently, but it's just that idea of not letting maybe things like addictions or bad habits hold you back, and really moving through life and evolving. And like I said, that phoenix energy, going through transformation, rising from the ashes. So group number 4, I'm gonna leave your reading there. I really hope it resonated with you guys. If it did, you can let me know in the comments down below. If you want to support me and my channel, you can give this video a like and subscribe. And then I hope you guys have a lovely day, and I will see you in the next video soon. Bye!